translate into championship football? You expressed that on this show. Are you surprised, impressed? What's your thoughts about this?
No, I'm not surprised. I wanted him to be healthy because you knew the talent was there. So the thing about it was the biggest thing was, could he be accurate? He's throwing. You understand something? He's at 70% clip of completion percentage. That was always the weakness in his game, him completing passes. So the thing about it, what he really is now, he won't have one of those crazy Bruce Eugene, Kent, Steve McNair numbers where we talk about 45 touchdowns and 4,000 yards, but he's going to have one of the most efficient seasons ever in the SWAC because he's at 20 touchdowns and 1 interception. So he'll probably finish up what they got. How many games? What are they at? 7 games? They got 5 more games to go. If they don't make the SWAC championship, but they're playing 12. They should be playing 12 games this year. So,
yeah.
So you got 5 more games. They played 7, so it's 5 more. They should have, I think, right?
I think he only has, he's 5 games, Coach.
Yeah, they play 12. So that'll get them probably right around 2,500 yards, probably outside shot and getting 30 touchdowns. He'll keep the interception. That's a crazy, crazy stat. And again, we'll I'll definitely be offensive MVP. So, man, I just love it. Hey, man, Coach, your frat brother was shimmying all in the end zone. The Lion brothers were shimmying with them, boy. Them Cowboys were showing up down there at the Magic City Classic.
Coach, let me ask you this, Coach. Is it possible this year that Andrew Body could – now, this is just – we've already had a year where he ran for 600 yards. We've already had a year where he also ran for 500 yards. Could this be a year where he throws for 3,000 and also runs for 1,000?
Coach, they've been beating people so bad that, they pull him out the game. I really don't think they have released him that what he really, really could do. I mean, he probably could throw 400 or 500 yards in a game, But they've been beating people pretty good where he's not playing full games.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's only at 1,600 yards. That means he got to go for another 1,400. Yeah, that's a lot in 5 games. And Coach saying, it's going to be a game where they're just not going to they're going to be up.
Right.
And,
that's how they've been doing.
And Coach Roberts is not going to throw the ball. I mean, the running attack is still good. So, again, like I told you, he's not going to have one of those magical seasons as far as numbers. It's still going to be magical because of the efficiency of the season. That's what's going to be so incredible about it.
Right.
All right, Coach, in our last game that we're going to cover from last week is I'll let Campbell tell us about what did this game mean for the Rattlers against y'all arch rival Southern University.
I listened to Perry. It was interesting. Perry this ain't a rivalry. The young guys don't really know and all that. Yeah, it ain't a rivalry because we beat y'all. You know what I'm saying? You don't care about it no more because you've been beaten so many times by. And they really thought this was one of the Southern, they were chirping. Crook, and he's over there, I think, at another show watching it. But, we're going to beat FAMU ain't this and FAMU ain't that. But once again, you got to play the game. You got to beat them. And that's what we did. So one of the things that, man, listen, the interesting thing is that we get the victory. But then there was another question like, where's Haley? This kid Haley come from? Why has he not been playing? This kid was totally explosive because during we had a simultaneous watch party. And Rocky, as you're watching Jack State, I'm watching this game, and I'm seeing this kid going for 30, 40 yards without being caught. You know what I mean? You saw Goldie Lawrence make a big play. Finally saw our speed guys be Florida fans, as I like to say. So big plays. And the one thing, Coach, that when you start making big plays, it takes a lot of pressure off your offense because you don't have to go 15, 20 plays to get a touchdown. Those big plays are shock plays, and it also demoralizes the defense. And that's the real of what I think happened. So, Cozy, I think this was one of the best games that he coached. He still had a questionable call on 4th and 1 where he went with RJ instead of punting the ball. But I think he was just trying to show his team that he believed in them. So I'm going to give him a pass on that because it worked out in the end. 'But, hey, listen, this is where we wanted to see. These speed guys, these young 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 guys, these yo to get big plays, because that's what we've been asking for. The guys are catching the ball. And RJ Johnson was efficient. He hasn't been great, but he plays an efficient game. So what he's going to have to do is do double that when they play Jackson State.
Hey, Coach, I know you didn't get a chance to see this game because you were in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
But I can honestly say, Coach, the Southern offense was much improved. We haven't seen anything like this from Southern the entire year. Coincidentally, we find out just before kickoff that one of the reasons why Terrence Graves was let go is because he had agreed to turn over play calling responsibility to Fred McNair. And for whatever reason, he realizes that the AD realized that hadn't done 4 weeks after him and the coach had agreed to turn play calling duties over to Fred McNair. Have you ever heard anything like that? Or let me say this, Coach. When you agree to something with the AD, how important is it for you to follow through with that related to how you're going to do business on game day?
Well, I mean, it's a negative thing whenever the AD calls you in and start making football suggestions. When that comes, there's some friction, there's some issues, and there's some problems. It's unprofessional to me or for athletic director to come in and start coaching. When it get that bad, it's bad. I just think they've been listening to us on this show. I just be honest. They've got that ball to who we talked about for the last 3-4 weeks that should be carrying that ball 20 times plus a game. That's the Kid Holly kid. These are two football teams that's still trying to find themselves. Florida A&M ain't scored 40 points in the last 2 years. Southern ain't scored 35 points in a while. You know what I'm saying? They're just two football teams floating in the night, kind of, with all this ammunition they have, but trying to put it together, And fortunately they did, and Florida A&M kind of outdone them. I still think these two teams hadn't reached their potential at all.
Now, I will say this, Coach. This is just my interpretations of what happened. Campbell may disagree with me. I don't think from a coaching standpoint we really saw any improvement by Cozy. That's my opinion, and I'll stand by it. What happened is I believe the offense was bailed out by some big plays by Haley, and I think RJ hit a big play late in the game. You know what I mean? I think that's what kind of happened. Now, you can say, well, the guys made the big plays. Well, true enough, but can you depend on big plays to move the ball consistently, Coach? That's what I would ask you.
Asking me?
Yeah, can you depend on big plays to move the ball consistently?
Well, you got to put some things together, and hopefully you're setting up some things to get the big plays. But no, there's not a lot of big plays in a game, period. Usually you chop away and you get first downs and you move it down. But you definitely do need big plays in a game to make it happen. You know what I mean? Like I said, I just feel that these two football teams hadn't reached their potential. We know one of the reasons on the Southern side is, they got probably the best back, maybe even one of the best backs in black college football, and you wouldn't even give him the ball 9 and 10 times a game. You give it to him 26, where'd he go for 145? I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Florida A&M, they trying to find it, trying to put together. Ain't no question they got athletes down there. Ain't no question they got speed on that football team. It's that they got to be able to get in that office and put it together and get the ball to the playmakers.
If my memory holds correct, they threw a screen to Wilshire, and then they had the 2 runs by Haley in the second half. Is that right, Coach? Is that right, Campbell? Am I?
Yeah, Golden Lawrence caught that long one, and Wilshire caught a big one. But as you see, Golden was that 74-yard pass, and then Haley put those touchdowns. And then remember, R.J. Johnson ran for a nice run to put it in there.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, do you think it was big plays that bailed them out, or did you see some improvement in how they were prepared and how they execute?
Well, what I've always said, you got to get the ball. We hadn't seen the ball get into our playmakers. This is the first time you saw where there was a concerted effort, where you saw guys being set up for plays, like Coach said, to be successful, to make big plays. Because when you got fast guys, a big play can happen at any time. But are you putting them in a position where now, like I say, you saw what's been told to me that Henry Burris has gone up to the booth. He's seeing the field much better. And now this is where you're seeing the plays. The offense is starting to come around. Of course, we played all quarter to Southern, but the bottom line is we played these games and we still couldn't score points. Hence the Howard game, right? We didn't score any points against Howard. Howard, to me, is not any better or any worse than Southern. And I think what you saw was more detail. And you saw, again, because when you can run the ball and a guy like Haley, because Haley was not also just getting long runs, he was getting positive runs. That was also the key, too. Because those, you got to understand something, he carried the ball 19 times.
Yeah.
That Franklin carried the ball before he got hurt. So what you finally saw is, and you saw the offensive line getting to the second level. I hadn't seen that the whole season. But the offensive line was getting to the second level. So, like I say, again, we'll see what happens. But like I say, take that as a positive and can move forward.
Hey, Coach, we're gonna try to rapid fire this and get these picks done, and so we can wrap this up. We've been on here a pretty long time, so let's go ahead and get it done. Coach, we're gonna start it. We're gonna start with what I would like to call the toilet bowls. So we got Mississippi Valley and Bethune-Cookman. I got Bethune-Cookman. Who you got, Campbell?
It's an easy choice. That's Bethune-Cookman. Because, like I say, Bethune was finally, for the first time since they've been in SWAC, they got something to play for. They're not going to play around with Mississippi Valley. And this is the time when you start to tune up your offense. You start making sure the attention to detail, because I think right after that, maybe, if I'm correct, they play Jackson State. So, and they're bringing the band. So I think this is one of those tune-up games that they say, hey, let's get everything together so we prepare to go to play Jackson.
Shit. Man, Bethune-Cookman, man, they're a scoring machine, 3-1 in the SWAC. They still trying to sneak up in there. They got hope.
All right, Arkansas Pine Bluff is hosting Southern. I'm gonna take Southern on this one. I love what I saw in the Fighting Fred McNair's.
They lose to Arkansas Pine Bluff. They need to clean everybody out. Everybody, the janitor, the guy, everybody. Southern definitely need to get this win. They definitely need to get this win. They playing the team that can get them. Pine Bluff is not very good on defense.
If Southern loses this game, that team will not be able to come back to Baton Rouge. I'm telling you that right now. They can accept. I think Southern can accept the losing to the name brand teams. They kind of understand that. Even if FAMU is not a good team as of right now, but it's FAMU and they haven't beaten us. But if they lose to Arkansas Pine Bluff with Trey Holland, and that team has talent, not defensively. Defensively, they don't. I mean, other than, of course, they have individual talent. They're not a talented defense. So I want to be clear on that. But no, I think that they really try to take what they took against FAMU and put it again against Arkansas Pine Bluff. All
right, guys, and of course I'm gonna take Southern as well. Coach, Texas Southern, your alma mater, hosts Alcorn State. If I'm not mistaken, they've put it on Alcorn State the last couple times this game has happened. I'm gonna take Texas Southern. I know Coach is gonna take Texas Southern. Campbell, it's on you.
This is a game that Texas Southern better watch and not get tripped up by. Now, remember, if you guys remember, I think Alcorn went down there on a Sunday and got tripped up, not paying attention.
No, Coach. They didn't get tripped up. They got squashed.
Well, the score. But they were expected to win this game because this was a game that they thought if they win, they would win the SWAC West. So it's the same thing with Texas Southern. Texas Southern has something to play for, because if you just look at, we'll talk about a later game, their favorite, their rival should not be favored. So again, this puts them right where they need to be at in striking distance and see what happens as the season goes on. So Texas Southern should not play around with this game. But Alcorn, I think, again, is going to play hard. But I think Texas Southern definitely takes them out.
Coach, was I correct in your assessment of picking Texas Southern?
It's going to be a close game, Coach. You know, with Texas Southern and Prairie View, they play the same type of game. Alcorn, played Prairie View real tough. So I think it's going to be a close game, but I got Texas Southern because they're at home. And hopefully they don't turn the ball over.
All right. Now, this is an interesting game right here, considering all the extenuating circumstances that are going on. Looks like they both will be playing with backup quarterbacks. To Gramblin's benefit, this game will be played in the hole. Gramblin's coming off a huge victory. Alabama State is coming off a really debilitating loss. Under any other circumstance, I would pick Grambling to win this game. But I just don't know their quarterback situation. So I'll let you guys pick first, and then I'll go behind you guys.
Yeah, Grambling likes to run the ball. I didn't like the backup quarterback that came into the game. I thought he was unprepared. He did make a big play, but Alabama A&M is struggling defensively, and I'm gonna pick Grambling in a close one.
Game is down at Grambling. Alabama A&M has not had great success, even when they had glass-nosed boys. I think Grambling, again, I think they're going to probably announce, some positive movement with T-Set to make everybody feel comfortable. I think they're going to play for T-Set. And I think, even though, like Coach said, they've got a rookie quarterback playing for Grambling, I think Alabama A&M just is not going to get it done. But I will say this. If Alabama A&M can put points up, which they have been able to do, then they can get the upset.
Coach, Coach, I'm gonna go with Grambling too. I think it's just down in the hole. I think ultimately Alabama A&M's defense just isn't that good, and if nothing else, Grambling is gonna be able to run the ball. And that'll be enough for them to shorten the game. And I look for Grambling to win in a close one. All right. This next game, Coach, when this game was announced, when we started looking down the schedule and after the season had started, it didn't looked like Cosley might not even be in Tallahassee for this game. Not only will Cozy be in Tallahassee for this game, but Cozy will be hosting Jackson State, and they're a live opponent in this game. They're live, which means they have the potential of upsetting the Jackson State team. Will be coming in, probably starting a true freshman quarterback. I'm gonna go ahead and pick this game. I'm going to pick Jackson State, and the reason why Jackson State is going to win this game is because TC is going to adjust his game plan, and he's going to run the football. He's going to shorten the game. Florida A&M is going to continue to make mistakes like they have been. They're going to fumble the football. R.J. Johnson's going to throw an interception. That's why I think Jackson State's going to win. What you say, Coach Cole?
I like Jackson State. Florida has to play a little more consistent. I think Jackson's defense is very good. They do some good things. The two quarterbacks, they're not bad guys. And I just see T.C. Taylor making an adjustment with his football team and getting them going in the right direction. And they got something to play for. Florida A&M got something to play for as well. You know, they only got one loss too. You know, but I got to go with Jackson State.
It's on you, Campbell.
Listen, everything that you guys said is 100% facts. Jackson State probably will be the overwhelming favorite. They're defending national champions. They've got the better defense. The coaching has been better. And with all that being said, you still got a freshman quarterback. And that Bragg Stadium is going to be packed. This is the first time this whole year when I have finally heard the Rattler energy saying, we want to play some football. So here's what I'll tell you. And I'll talk more about this game on Thursday. So that's when I'll give my pick. Maybe tomorrow because I got to do the show with Mike. But here's what I'll say about the keys to FAMU. Big plays, turnovers, and I'm saying put that freshman on his back because that Bragg Stadium is going to be packed. The sonic boom is coming, so you're going to have to march at 100. Finally going to be able to go heads up against a top band. And, man, I think it's going to be electric. You're going to be able to see that light show. And I think this is the one, if Cozy wants to show and shut. And I text Coach Cozy this, and I literally said, shut us all up, Coach, because we don't mean anything. We do not mean anything. You're the coach of this football team, and you got to coach these boys. So it's on him. So what we'll see is if they understand the assignment, and, again, we did not want anybody to be injured, but they are going to be playing a freshman quarterback that has not played in an environment like Bragg.
Let me ask you this, Coach Cole, before we get out of here, and we got one more game to pick. But a coach, I don't know if you've ever been in this situation. Can a coach like Cozy kind of salvage what looked to be a disappointing season by winning a game like this?
Oh, man. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, you know, those people up in the office are like microwave ovens, man. You know, or what have you done for me lately? I think if we get after this game, I think the team will be, I think they found themselves. You know, I told them they like two ships floating in the, you know, with talent, floating, trying to figure out who we are. And if they beat a Jackson State, they might don't found who we are. And you never know, man, that east side might change all the way. Because ain't no question there's some football players in Florida A&M. Putting them together is the problem. I don't think it's the players. I think it's an internal thing that they got to put some things together.
Yeah. You know, I think let me ask you this, Campbell. Will this game determine win or loss? Now, I'm not saying whether win or losing, he'll keep his job, but will how they look in this game factor into whether or not Cozy's
well, I think, yeah, because what you don't want to happen is, because remember, teams that if you talk about on the higher level, we lost, 45-7 to Central. We lost, 42 to something to Alabama State, who had never beaten us since we've been in the SWAC. We had beaten Central the last 2 or 3 times. We played Jackson State tough. So if you're coming down there, and when I'm talking about with an energized crowd, the Marching 100, the Sonic Boom of the South, again, this game means something, which has always meant something since we've been in the SWAC. And Jackson State comes and rolls us 40-something to 7. There's going to be a lot of disappointment. So what I will say to the Florida A&M football team, you want to show that you have been improving and that you're here to play this football game. And again, they have a freshman quarterback. That levels the playing field somewhat. Jackson State's still the more talented team, and there's no doubt about that. But having a freshman quarterback down in Bragg Stadium, and Coach knows this, freshmen are freshmen until they become sophomores.
All right, our last game we're going to pick, and this is the biggest game in my opinion. These guys will get a chance to play early and then go watch Jackson State play. Let me kind of figure it. Both of these teams will be watching the Jackson State Prairie View game for different reasons. If Alabama State wins, they'll be watching to see if they can somehow unseat Jackson as the East champion. Prairie View will be, if they win the game, they'll be watching to make sure so that will give them some indication that they will be the host team for the SWAC no matter what happens. If they beat Alabama State and Jackson State loses, I think that guarantees that no matter what happens, they will host the SWAC championship. What do you think, Coach?
If Jackson State loses, you got Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman vying for trying to knock them off. If Jackson State loses, man, they could be out of the running altogether. You know what I'm saying?
No. What I'm saying is if Jackson State loses, does that pretty much put Prairie View in the driver's seat?
Oh, yeah.
If they beat Alabama State to host the SWAC championship, that's what I'm saying.
You know, that's tricky. But you said if Jackson State loses, right?
If Jackson State loses and Prairie View wins,
yeah, they would be hosting the championship game.
With Alabama A&M, Arkansas Pine Bluff, and Mississippi Valley left, couldn't it be with Jackson State having 2 losses and them already have beaten Alabama State? Wouldn't they have secured?
Well, I'll answer that question. That's what it is, because you look at it, they wouldn't have any losses. Alabama State already has 1. If you're saying that they beat Alabama State, that's 2 losses. So that pretty much guarantees it. That pretty much guarantees it. No matter what happens, what Jackson State does either way.
Right. Home field and whoever comes from the West.
Yeah. The East. East.
I mean the East, yeah. Because you still got 3 teams in the East with only 1 conference loss.
Well, what I'm saying is they don't play Bethune-Cookman, right?
Who, Jackson State?
No, Prairie View.
We already know that if Jackson State loses, Prairie View should have home field advantage.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying Jackson State, we don't know if Jackson State will be representing the West.
Oh, well, I mean,
because you got 3 teams in the West with only 1 loss.
The East.
The East.
Man, I'm confused.
Right. So let's kind of break that down. The thing about why Alabama State is in a really good position, they've already beaten FAMU, they've already beaten Bethune-Cookman. Jackson State still has to play Bethune-Cookman. They still have to play FAMU. So that's why Alabama State is really sitting in a really good position, and looking at their schedule other than this game right here. That's why it's so important for them also to win this game. So everybody, this is one of those a game of the year type games where everybody has to play. So for Alabama State, they have to keep pace. So they have to win this game. They lose this game, they're out. Because even if Jackson State loses, Jackson State beat them head to head. So this could be an elimination game for Alabama State.
And I'll say this: if Alabama State, and this is why it's critical for Prairie View, in my opinion, just my opinion. If Alabama State defeats Prairie View, right, that what means is that there's a chance that Prairie View won't be hosting the SWAC championship.
They'll be right there in Montgomery.
Or Jackson State.
Jackson State.
Yeah. So that's what I was trying to point out is it's not Jackson's odds are Prairie View's going to the West, going to represent the West. But this game will factor in where the championship is played, is the point I was getting. And in my opinion, Prairie View doesn't have enough firepower to hold off Alabama State, in my opinion.
And that's the problem, Rocky, right there. That's the thing that Prairie View, because see, Alabama State can play both ways. They can play an ugly game and win it with 21-17, 21-20. Or, hey, you want to get up there where we want to get up to, 35, 40 points? Yeah, let's do that. And Prairie View just doesn't have the offensive firepower. But here's the thing about it. And I'm saying this because Coach TJ watches this. This is what you hired them for games like this. Their defense has played well. They've been consistent. They have not played a high-powered offense like Alabama State. So now we'll see what the coach comes in at. And can he, again, the blueprint is always there. Turnovers, run the ball, and keep the game close, just like Delaware State did with Central.
I agree, Coach. What do you think? Alabama State, the least points they've scored all year is 30 points. If they get to 30, can Prairie View outscore them?
No.
Not even close.
Prairie View hadn't shown that they could score. I mean, they put 38 on Lynchburg. I don't care if you did take your starters out or whatever. That makes it tough. Prairie View is definitely going to have to hold Alabama State down. You know, they're going to be counting on the defense. Offensively, they hadn't been able to put the numbers up. So it's a big test, man. You got great defense playing great offense.
You know, my concern with Prairie View is that they had some really good showings, but if they have their worst offensive game, they put up 13. If they have their best their best offensive output, they're at 38, Coach. And if they score 38 against against Alabama,
don't even mention Lincoln, right? Come on.
No. I'm just saying, no. My point is, if they score 38, they still could lose against Alabama State. Like in a low-scoring game, it seems like that doesn't give them much chance to win. But if they do score 38, that's almost like playing into Alabama State's hands. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Almost damned if you do, damned if you don't, damned if you do. What do you say, Coach? Is there a game plan that can hold Andrew Body and Alabama State under the Prairie View average, which I think is like 24 points?
Yeah, well, they got to be able to tackle in open field. They got to be able to maintain and keep Body in the pocket. And when he breaks, they got to be able to tackle it. Period. If Alabama State is good on first down, it's going to be a long day for Prairie View. That way they stay out of predictable downs where they're keeping Alabama State in third and long, where they can play their 3-2-5 defense. If Alabama State is good on first downs, it'll be a long night for Prairie View.
Hey, Coach, you mean they playing with 10 people?
Well, they got 3 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defensive backs.
So they missing one person, Coach. What they put the other 5?
Say what now?
They're playing 3-3-5.
Yeah, they'll play him to the field. I'm sorry.
So the extra player will be to the field.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's been a long day for me, guys.
I get it, Coach. Hey, Coach, and on that note, I got Alabama State. Who you got, Campbell?
I mean, this is simple, man. Alabama State, again, for Prairie View to win it, I'll tell you the score of what it's got to be. It's got to be a 24-21 game with 2 to 3 turnovers for them to win the game, and or like a block punt. Grambling is the blueprint for how to beat Alabama State, how they did Jack State, but that's not going to happen. I think Eddie Robinson understands, and you heard it in his voice. He knows what they got to do. They're going to put 35 points on that board.
What about you, Cam? I mean, what about you, Coach? Who you got?
It's just Prairie View gonna have to score more. It's just gonna be one of those nights, and I just don't think they've shown me that they're that good up front where they can make Alabama State one-dimensional. Or Prairie View gonna have to move that ball and score some points. So I take Alabama State by 10 points.
Okay.
Hey, Rocky, real quick, and just because I saw somebody say, hey, look at the history. I think Alabama State is 1-9. I think I saw that. But let me tell you something. This is not the same as Jack State and Grambling. This is not where you have a strong rivalry where funny things just happen. That's more of a function of who had the better team at the better time. So I just don't think that really comes into play. If this was, like I say, a Southern FAMU, a Jack State Grambling, those traditional losses and wins come into play. I don't think this is the type of game that comes into play here. They don't play each other enough for that to matter.
I know Prairie View has in recent history went to Alabama State and got a victory. Those were those Alabama State teams that were struggling on offense for the most part.
Yeah. I don't think and usually when you say that, it's because it goes back to my point about the Grambling thing. It's a thing that's a tradition. Hey, we're not scared of these guys. We always be. I don't think that Prairie View has that type of, well, it's Alabama State, we always beat that. Prairie View, to me, they can't make that, like Coach TJ said, we ain't good enough to be talking like that. We haven't accomplished anything to be talking like that.
Now last thing, Coach, as Coach TJ, who has essentially wrapped up the SWAC West, is this a measuring stick game for his program as to where they are?
Well, I think he thinks that as well. I mean, he's not a fool. He knows he's on fool's gold. He's on his honeymoon. I mean, he's a confident coach, but he knows where he at. He knows he's tiptoeing through the tulips. He knows that. There's been a couple games that he won that he might have been in question.
Yeah. It looked like we had old coach
game turning the ball over. They going
froze up on us.
Yeah, what it looked. That's what it kind of looked like that he froze up on us. Maybe they having some of the same internet problems they're having in Jackson.
TJ don't want Coach to tell none of his secret. That's why he did it. He called on the Prairie View engineer, say, "Hey, shut that down." Coach started to talk too much.
No, but I think, hey, now you can go, Coach. You good now?
Okay. No, it ain't no secret with Tremaine of knowing where his program is. And he's got to be better offensive talk, and the best defense. Offense has moved the ball against everybody. Let's not make no mistake. Everybody, Division 1A, 2A.
They got him.
they got him again, Co. Oh yeah, hey, them Prairie View guys don't want him even comment.
Don't want to comment.
Yeah, Coach, I think we're gonna get out of here though, Mr. Campbell. As Coach, there he is. Coach, are you there?
Oh, so y'all couldn't hear me?
Nah,
Oh, wow.
You like new money now, Coach.
Oh, man, like I said, real quick, Tremaine and them, he knows that they got to score the football. They got to score. And the best thing is, the best defense is when the offense can keep the other offense off the field, when you play those great quarterbacks like Body, Steve McNair, Willie Totten, Darnell Kennedy, Eugene, man, you got to keep those guys off the field, man. If you don't keep them off the field, shit, man, it's going to be tough beating them. Or you're going to have your greatest output night. Who is this, PV versus I seen y'all show. Hey, man, that 23-16, man. Hey, man, you can wrap that up and throw it in the trash can and sit it out. You got to score more than 23 points. I'm telling you, this kid can do it, man. He can do it. And look, hey, I've seen the great ones. I've been around the great ones. He can do it.
Coach, the one thing that I'll say is they do the offensive line, to be honest, even against UAB coach, they did a great job of protecting that kid. They did a great job of protecting it. And so I just, I don't see a scenario, and Lionel is my man. I don't see a scenario where you hold Alabama State to 16 points. I just don't. But unless is it going to be a monsoon or something like that? Is it going to be wet in Prairie View? Is the hurricane that's in Jamaica going to somehow make his way to Prairie View? I don't know.
Hell, Body averaged 16 points a game himself. So, look, I'm not saying that they can't do it at Prairie View. They don't held everybody they have, but they hadn't played Jackson State, nor have they played Alabama State.
And this is my last comment, Coach, about it. And Campbell, you can comment on it, whatever. I don't think Prairie View, as much success as they had this season, have, other than the guy at Granville Valley, have they played another competent quarterback in this league, passing quarterback?
Yeah, I don't think we have an argument. I mean, this is going to be the best team that they play. And this is, like I say, potentially the best team in the conference. I mean, them and Jackson State are 1-1A. There's no doubt about it. You're going against the player of the year. He's coming back home to Texas. I mean, he's going to light it up, man. So listen, Prairie View, I understand it, but this is just one of those things that you guys are going to have to play a perfect game. This is one of those games that you get. Deshaun Jackson gave you the blueprint. Run the ball, get a turnover, and win it in the end. That's exactly what you're going to have to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think Prairie View can run the ball. I think they probably will have some success in the running game, but they're going to have to turn those runs into points at the end of the day. That has to be part of their success if they're looking for a victory. They can't run the ball just to run it. They can't run the ball to kick field goals. They have to run it to score points. Let me see. Okay.
But this is the thing, Lionel, this is the thing. Here's the problem with your point. He's only thrown one interception this year. You got to measure him by this year. He's thrown 20 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's completed 70% of his passes. So the norm is 70%, 20 touchdowns, 1 interception. And reminds you, because he's a red shirt senior. This kid been around, man. So this is not his first rodeo, and this game is not going to be too big for him. That game in Jackson, and I'm just no disrespect for Prairie View, that game in Jackson is double what this game is. And he put that thing down there for 60 minutes. So this game right here is going to be light work for their mentality of going into Prairie View. I'm sorry, it's not Jackson State when you got 45,000 people in the game of the year implications.
Look, can y'all hear me, Coach?
Yeah, Coach. Yeah.
They averaging 41 points a game. 41 points. They're 56% on third down. They're efficient. They can run the football, Coach. Don't. They can run the football. When you look at the teams they've beaten, like you just said, that this is the best team they played all year, besides Rice. And so,
and Body may be better than their quarterback at Rice.
Oh yeah, ain't no question. So, I mean, if you're a bet man, of course, Tremaine, Coach Jackson is very close and dear to me, and his staff. But we talking football. They're gonna have to come and score more than 24 points a game, or 21. What is they average? I tried to pull it up.
I want to say it was like 22 or 23 points a game. It It was just before the Lincoln game. It was just under the average you always talk about, Coach.
Yeah, 24 points. So they under the average.
Yes.
Right.
They under. Now he says 17 is average, Coach. Is 17 average, Coach?
No, it's 24. The national average is 24 points a game.
Yeah. And Prairie View scores under the national average.
Yeah.
Again, I like I say, I don't want to. My deal is I like Coach Jermaine Jackson, and against the best, what I would consider the best defense in the SWAC, against the best defense in the SWAC, Andrew Body was 20 for 30 for 349 yards, ran 14 times for 93 yards. That's what he did against the best defense in the SWAC. I'm not saying he's going to do that against Prairie View, but that's what he did against the best defense in the SWAC, the number one defense.
And Lana, we just don't say stuff. Let's be honest here. Come on, let's stop that. Because let me tell you something. First of all, let's see. This is where I think we get skewed. If Prairie View makes the championship, no matter home field or not, that is a tremendous accomplishment. Okay. If you all win the West, that is a tremendous accomplishment. First year coach coming in, beating the teams he had to beat. If they lose one, whatever. So I don't think that dims the light on Prairie View. But there's also a thing of better teams. The two better teams are Jackson State and Alabama State. You can't deny that. If you just look at watch football, you got to admit that. You guys have, because I'm going to tell you this, what they remind me of a little bit, Coach, with Prairie View. They're better defensively than we were, but their offense, it was just kind of like, can we get there? So that's what, to me, it's like where you guys are. We went 7-5 last year. So again, for you guys, it's worked out. You got the game. You guys can try to win it, but let's not act like Alabama State does not have an explosive offense. They got that thing in gear. So come on, man. Let's not do that.
Here's the thing, too. Why Coach Jackson is so experienced in these situations. I don't know if you guys remember the Jackson State when they had the white guy at quarterback, and we actually shut them down. We shut them down. But what helped us win that football game is that we rushed the ball for 275 yards. We kept them off the field, even though our defense finished number one in the country that year, 2010. So I know what's going through Coach Jackson's mind and how he's thinking of, we got to slow him down, but yet offensively, you got to have your best showing. If you don't have your best showing and help us keep him off the field, then it's going to be a long night and a tough game. That's what I'm saying. So Coach Jackson's been in these situations. He knows what he up against, and he knows what he got to do. That offense don't play well. I don't see them beating Alabama State.
Yeah, and this is what I'll say, Lionel. I'm not going to argue with you about this. I think you're a staunch Prairie View supporter. You're looking for reasons as to why your team will and should win the game. And I'll just say this, Lionel, and you're an educated man from the great University of Prairie View A&M. If you find me one statistical measurement that points to Prairie View winning this game, I'll buy you a Pepsi.
Coke Zero.
Huh?
He might want Coke. Give him a Coke.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to say Coke. You know what I'm saying? I'll buy you a Pepsi. But I'm talking about one statistical measurement as to why Prairie View will win this game. I've looked for it, Coach. I've looked for it. I put money on these games. I bet my hard-earned money to win these games. I can't find one, Steve. Steve, I've looked for the edge in this game.
Well, the only thing that you could say is that, and I think what Lionel and what I'm pretty sure Coach T. Jackson is, that number one defense. That's what they're relying on.
But one thing about it, guys, at the end of the day, you got to play the game.
Oh, 100%.
So, Rocky, it didn't matter because you will poo-boo the statistics. Anyway, I don't know what that means. No, what I'm saying is, I'm just simply saying I can't deny what is, right? If it's scoring average, if it's yardage given, if it's common opponents, if however you come out with Prairie View having the edge, please share it with me. Send it to me on Twitter because I can't find it. I can't find it. I'm not saying it's not there. You know, maybe even if it's, hey, by kicking off the game at 2:00, that give Prairie View an edge over Alabama State. I can't find one, Coach. And I know you've been in the game a long time. Can you find one? Campbell, you watch anywhere from Walter Payton all the way down to Andrew Body. Can you find one? Can you find one edge?
Well, I'm like, Coach, well, see, here's the thing. And I'm going to look at it like this. Grambling played Jackson State. You see what happened. Delaware State plays Central, and according to Josh, because he watches video and nobody else does, that it was going to be a tremendous blowout. It didn't happen. So the thing about it is, I'm going to give the credit to Tremaine Jackson. I think he's a great coach. I think he's going to put a good game plan together. I think what happens is, can you do like Deshaun Jackson and play a perfect game plan that fits your team, get the turnover you need, and win the game? Shorten that game. That's the game plan. If not, guess what? Them boys at Alabama State are going to go nuts.
Yeah. Well,
and Eddie Robinson is a great coach.
There's your statistical point. Tremaine Jackson. Let's put it on the coach. They got a chance. It's on him. They don't win.
That's it, period. Yeah. So that's the thing about that. That gives them, I believe they can be in this game. But I just think, again, Eddie Robinson, and again, I think what I love about Coach, listen, you know what's so crazy? And I don't want to belabor this. Eddie Robinson has seen this before. So like he told this guy, like, man, we don't care nothing about that if we don't win these games. So I think his mentality is acquired confidence. We have to win this game. What happened in Vegas happened. But what are we going to do this weekend?
Yeah. There you go. It's been said.
Hey, Coach. Hey, I don't have anything else to say. Hey, I want to wish Tremaine Jackson luck. I want to wish Eddie Robinson and Andrew Body luck. I want it to be a good game. And of course, I want the best team to win. Like you said, Coach, we can talk about it all the way up to Saturday, but it's going to be decided on the field, ain't it, Coach?
That's right, Coach. That's right. That's right.
And with that saying, I'll sign off, and you guys can take.
Coach, I'm going to say something real quick because it's in the news and people have asked me. It's very concerning that we have seen articles and information that Angela Suggs at Florida A&M's AD, who is still the AD of Florida A&M, potentially going to be replaced by the director of the lottery in Florida, John Davis, who played at Florida State, who has no experience in any capacity of athletics. We'll see what happens. We know that Angela will definitely still be around Florida A&M. When the official announcement happens, I'll have more to talk about. But what I will say is this. This is the reason why we have to make sure we are in and voting. Because if this is what this is no more than a crony appointment that's going to hurt FAMU. That's what this is. And I don't care who wants to tell him that. He's not qualified. You're talking about somebody that has 20 years of experience, that has worked in athletics. And we've seen before, when we had an unqualified person before, what happened. So now here we go. So I'm telling all the FAMU faithful, write your president, let your voice be heard, let your money be heard. Because if this is true, because I can't say it's true until it is true, we have to let people know this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. We have a qualified AD. And what we found out, like I told all of you all here, don't believe what the police say. What you found out in the end, this came down to $649, which still was some BS. But I tried to tell all you all that, but y'all tried to tell me what it wasn't. So this is disappointing because we've got a great AD that's really ready to make Florida A&M athletics great. But now what we've got going on now is a person that's going to come out and get a job that's not going to be able to support Florida in no shape, form, or fashion at all. And I'm not saying he's not a good person. I'm pretty sure he's a great person. But that doesn't mean he needs to be the athletic director of Florida A&M University. And I'm going to say this to all my other schools. Jack State, I see y'all been watching your stuff. You know what's going to go down there. Do not let them people do it. Fight. Fight. This is about us fighting and not allowing these MAGA Republicans to take our schools over. Because all skin folks ain't kin folks. And that's all I got, Coach.
Wow, Coach, that's a hit, boy. You guys been going through it down there at Florida A&M for the last 2 years.
Well, it's disappointing. It's disappointing because, Coach, you know, we see this and people are playing games with a public #1 university and think it's a joke. They think, and this is where white people look at us, that, oh, anybody can do this job. No, anybody can't do this job. And this goes for any of our schools. We have qualified people that graduate from our school to do these jobs, but here we go. But like I try to tell people, and I always heard this, let's give her a chance. Y'all gave her a chance. Now you see what's happening. And this ain't the only appointment that's going to happen. This is just the one of many.
Wow. Wow. Did she do a year? Was she there?
Yeah, because she started last football season. So, yeah, it would be a year.
Wow.
But it had nothing to do with anything. It's all about DeSantis and them using Florida A&M as their own cookie jar. Because, like I say, it has nothing to do with anything that happened to do with her. Nothing. Which I told everybody.
I got you. Well, hopefully we can bring her back on the show, man, because she's a great person, and we can get her back on the show, and one day at least she can get it off her chest. If all this stuff go down, and let her know how much she's great guys. The coach again, I can shave this and I'll be ready to go. But no, again, a great show. God is also blessing me on being able to bring great people on like Ricky Jones and bring always say, man, you know, just got to hold on. Just got to hold on. And you got to just hold on to that rope. And if you feel yourself slipping, just tie a knot at the end of the rope and just continue to hold on, man. You know, as I always say, the sun gonna shine in the morning. See you guys next week, same time, same place.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.